Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, we got a lot of Toronto Maple Leaf stuff to talk about, including Austin Matthews being injured, the goaltending situation over the last little while, Morgan Rielly, the Toronto Maple Leafs power play, and where we are kind of midway through the season. The first thing I want to touch on is Austin Matthews being injured, because he was out last night against the Nashville Predators. He's a game-time decision tonight against the Detroit Red Wings, and Sheldon Keefe said that this has been something that has been bothering Matthews for a while now. Now, the Maple Leafs will never say what that injury is or how it's affecting him, but it's been a bit of a topic of conversation throughout the year so far. Has he been dealing with something? Is he okay? Because he hasn't necessarily had a dominant stretch of hockey so far. Now, he still is tied for second in team scoring, and he's got 20 goals in 41 games, which puts him on pace for about 40 goals this year, which isn't bad, but it's not the same as the 60 goals that he scored last year or the 50 goals in 50 games. So people are going to speculate. Like I said, we'll probably never find out what that injury is or how exactly it's affecting him, and I'm not going to speculate on that here. The frustrating part about this all is that it's not like he's not getting the scoring opportunities. He's currently second in the NHL in terms of individual scoring chances for per 60 minutes at 5-on-5. It's just that when he's getting those scoring opportunities, it feels like, or at least it looks like, something is off. Either it's high and wide of the net, or it gets lost in his skates, or the goalie makes a really nice save, or he fans on it. Yes, he's got 20 goals in 41 games. Yes, he's on pace for 40 goals this season, which is remarkable. It just feels like the goals that he has scored, he's had to really fight for, and that's not the Austin Matthews that we've known over the last couple of seasons. And to add to that, his defensive numbers have also taken a bit of a step back compared to last season. I mean, last year he was so dominant on both sides of the puck. The Hart Trophy really was deserved for him last year. I don't think he's been bad this year. I don't think he's been bad offensively. I don't think he's been bad defensively. He doesn't look as sharp. And if you've watched the games, you can sort of understand what I mean by that. It's not that I'm overly worried about the injury, because it's obviously something that they've been managing and dealing with throughout the season so far, and he is on pace for about 40 goals, and he is tied for second in team scoring. But at the same time, it is Austin Matthews, so you're going to worry about it. But this Thursday night game against the Red Wings in January doesn't really do much for me, but I do want him in that Saturday game against the Bruins, because I want the Leafs to hand them their first home regulation loss this season. That means more. And then they got 2 days off afterwards, and then they have a lot of home dates to close out the month of January. So I guess we'll just have to see how it goes. And I know that that's not very comforting, but that's all that we can really do right now. Although I really want the Leafs to beat Boston in Boston on Saturday night, if him sitting out for the next week or two means that he comes back closer to 100%, yeah, obviously, no brainer. Do it. The Leafs are 31-15-2 without him lifetime. You need him for the playoffs. You don't need him for games in January. And you know what? The Leafs are 31-15-2 without Matthews in the lineup lifetime, because they've gotten guys to step up in his place. Matt Murray plays really well last night against the Nashville Predators. William Nylander picks up 2 assists. John Tavares scores for the 4th consecutive game. It's nice to see other guys step up when the team needs them. Speaking of Matt Murray and the goaltending and Ilya Samsonov, there was about a 2-week period or so from about the middle of December to early January when we hit a couple of speed bumps, and both goaltenders over the course of about a handful or so of games weren't very good. And there were about a dozen or so articles like this written, are Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov turning into pumpkins? And people aren't wrong for pointing out a 9-game stretch where these guys maybe aren't playing the greatest. That's their job, right? To microanalyze everything. You got to write an article every day. You got to do a video. You got to talk about things on a daily basis. And that's what they had to talk about. This was a goaltending tandem when it was put together in the summer that was heavily criticized, and people were skeptical. There were reasons to be optimistic, like we've touched on before, but then they started the season and they were both top 5 in save percentage throughout the first 2.5 months. And like we said, people weren't wrong for pointing out that they didn't play so well over that 9-game stretch, but after they started the season so hot, it felt like people were just waiting for one of or both of them to have an extended slump like that, to really let the articles like that rain down and create some doubt, let some fear seep in, and create some hysteria, because that's what drives the clicks. People want to know, is this a problem? Is this not a problem? And for me, 9 games between December and January, they're not going to bother me much, because Matt Murray is still 9th in the NHL in save percentage. Samsonov is 13th. They played well their last couple of games. Sheldon Keefe went as far as to say that Matt Murray was the reason why they won yesterday's game against Nashville. And Samsonov starts tonight against the Red Wings, more than likely going to be Murray Saturday night in Boston. And if he plays well in that game and hands Boston their first home regulation loss, yeah, people are going to be pretty snobby about it. But moving on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and that's Morgan Rielly. And if we come over to hockeyviz.com, which is where all these heat maps are from, and if we're looking at how the Maple Leafs have played both with and without Morgan Rielly so far this year, they have been better with him offensively at 5-on-5 out there, and defensively, like you'd expect, they've been worse. The Maple Leafs went through an extended stretch without Morgan Rielly where they played very well defensively. They've gotten a number of guys so far this season to step up on their blue line. Guys like Mark Giordano, even Justin Hall, and especially Rasmus Sandin and Timothy Liljegren, but even a guy like Connor Timmins, who came out of nowhere, played really well in the games that he got to play, and now he's finding himself being a healthy scratch every other game. And for the Maple Leafs with Morgan Rielly on the ice so far this year, yeah, they haven't been as good defensively with him as compared to without him, but that's been the story of Morgan's career. And we've said in the past that I don't think that that means that they don't need him. I just think that his role on this team is slowly changing. You know, they don't need him to play 24, 25 minutes a night in situations where maybe he's not the most effective guy that they have now. They have other guys that have stepped up and played a huge role, and I don't view that as a negative. To me, all it means is that less is more, and if he ends up playing less minutes as a result and playing more in situations that he excels in, then that's not the worst thing. But where people lose me is when they start talking about him needing to be pulled off of Powerplay 1. And if we're looking over the numbers on the power play for when Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, and Marner are playing together, and then with Morgan Rielly, Rasmus Sandin, and Michael Bunting as the 5th member of that power play unit, the Maple Leafs score way more goals and they generate way more dangerous opportunities when Morgan Rielly is the 5th member of that power play. I understand if they get a power play and they really need a goal and he's out there and it doesn't work out, or he makes a bad pass or a bad read or whatever. I get that that's frustrating, but in looking over the numbers, it's not really close. Uh, the best power play that the Maple Leafs can run out there is with Morgan Rielly. But it doesn't mean that the other variations of their top power play unit is bad. I mean, the 5-forward one is really interesting with Michael Bunting, because John Tavares and Michael Bunting work very well together down low, and maybe they create different looks for teams with differing styles of penalty kills. It's nice to have options, and the Maple Leafs have 3 pretty good options to slot in there with Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, and Marner, but the one that's produced the best results has been when Morgan Rielly is alongside those 4 guys. So midway through the year, you know, the Leafs are second in the NHL by both points and points percentage, but they still find themselves second in the Atlantic Division because the Boston Bruins are on pace to have the most points in regular season history. They seem like they're locked in to face the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs. So not much has changed from last year compared to this season, but hey, from where we were at the beginning of the season, where we weren't too sure about the goaltending tandem, how the new look bottom 6 was going to play out, and how the blue line would look, I'm really liking where we are right now. We've had a lot of guys step up on that blue line in the absence of injuries. I know TJ Brody is out right now, but that shouldn't be too long of an injury, at least from what Sheldon Keefe has said anyway. Yeah, I'm liking things with this team right now. It's been a lot of fun. I really hope that they beat Boston in Boston on Saturday and hand them their first home regulation loss. That'll be a lot of fun. Obviously, the Austin Matthews injury thing worries me a little bit, but hey, they've been managing it. They've been dealing with it a bit. So he's still on pace for 40 goals and tied for second in team scoring. So I'm not overly worried about it, but it's something to monitor, obviously, as we go. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video, guys. Make sure to like the video if you did like it, and then subscribe for more because more is always on the way. I know I haven't uploaded a whole ton over the last couple of weeks because I was working on the World Juniors for TSN over the holidays, and then I got sick. You could probably hear it in my voice afterwards. I wasn't in Halifax or Moncton or anything like that. I was in the studios here in Toronto working on highlight packs for SportsCenter, which is I still can't believe that that's my job. And obviously here on the channel as well. I know I need to balance both of them, but um, yeah, it's been a lot of fun over the last little while. I should get back to regularly scheduled uploads now since I'm feeling better. And my schedule has opened up a little bit more. So guys, I'll see you in the next one.